Well, It Chapter 2 brought in, get this, $91 million in the U.S. in its opening weekend.
Matt Perrin shares his thoughts on the horror sequel in your Monday Movie Musings.
Welcome to another Monday. This weekend was the official kickoff to the fall box office, and it started with a bang. The film that took the top spot did so with $85 million more than its closest competitor. The film was the second largest opening for a horror film and the second largest September opening ever, losing out first place in both categories only to its predecessor. I definitely floated down to the theater to check out this sequel, and without any further ado, here's my take on It Chapter 2. It's been 27 years since the Losers Club defeated Pennywise in the sewers under Derry, Maine. Most of them have moved away, and in doing so have forgotten everything about the town in their childhood. But Mike Hanlon stayed behind to wait the 27-year period, and he remembers everything. When horrifying events start happening around Derry again, he calls back his old friends, and although they don't know why, they are drawn back. Upon returning, the past memories flood back to them, and they remember it and are terrified of having to battle him again. Mike thinks he has a way to destroy Pennywise for good this time, but it's going to take all of them to pull it off. As adults, the losers have to split up to go find important talisman from their youth that can be used to stop Pennywise. Each on their own, they search for these objects, and each has their own run-in with the murderous clown. Their fear begins to rise, which of course is what fuels their enemy, and he knows how to push each of their buttons. As the movie progresses, we see each of our characters remembering more of their past and at the same time becoming more vulnerable to their adversary. Everyone must learn to subdue their fear along with killing their own past. The movie jumps back and forth from past to present, which at times is disorienting but really makes you appreciate the casting choices. But there is no avoiding it, and Pennywise must be faced. He has been waiting for the better part of 3 decades for this revenge, growing stronger and waiting for this chance. If the losers don't set this right, they all face horrible fates. We as the audience are on the edge of our seats waiting to see how all this plays out, or if we have read the book or seen the miniseries, waiting to see how close to the source material this one lands. So, what to say about this one? First off, I've been excitedly anticipating this conclusion, and I'm happy to say that I wasn't disappointed. As I said earlier, this movie is almost half and half, present time and past flashbacks, which at times gets a little confusing as far as the timeline goes, but what's interesting about that is they actually had to use CGI de-aging on the child actors to take 2 years off their lives, which leads to the casting. It could not have been done any more perfectly. With the possible exception of James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain, you would swear that the other losers are actually the child actors 27 years later, and the film takes advantage of this with some pretty amazing transitions. Plus, besides the fantastic work of the grown-up Losers Club, Bill Skarsgård is back at his absolute creepiest. I hear he's the nicest guy in the world, but I don't think I'd be able to have a face-to-face conversation with him without running away screaming, so I think that means he did a really good job. All in all, this is a really well-done conclusion, and unlike a lot of movies that are based on his works, Stephen King really got behind this one, even adding to the writing and making one of his old-school cameos once again. Look, you know if this is your cup of tea or not, but if you've seen the first one, there is no possible way to miss this one. In fact, I'm looking forward to it coming out on Blu-ray so I can do an almost 6-hour viewing of the two back to back. As I said, I floated down to the theater to see this one, and you should float too. This has been your Monday Movie Musing. Back to you.
And coming up, Tyler has the last look at the forecast.
ABC Columbia's News at Noon continues in just a few moments.